Hey guys, it's Tim, and this is Wrestling Unlimited, as it's Monday, and that means tonight was Monday Night Raw. Now, as far as tonight's Monday Night Raw does go, I thought it was a good show, but not great. I thought it was okay. Like, if I'm voting in the polls with you guys, I would probably vote just all right. Gonna be completely honest. I didn't hate Raw. I thought it was a very, very easy show to watch. A lot of good stuff, a lot of good wrestling. Oh my God, Bronson Reed and Braun Strowman. Whoo, boy, that was awesome. But yeah, a lot of good stuff on the show, but it didn't feel like anything special or like a super good Monday Night Raw. Just a good Monday Night Raw, not great or anything. Also, as you could tell, no Luke tonight. He actually had to work late and missed tonight's Monday Night Raw. So it's like, well, you can have a guy on the show that didn't watch the show. So Luke was like, not going to make it, which happens. It happens. So we're going solo dolo tonight, talking Monday Night Raw. Also, I do want to give my condolences to the family, friends, and fans of Sid Udy, better known as Psycho Sid, Sid Vicious, Sid Justice. He ultimately did lose his life to cancer. His son, Gunner, posted it today on Facebook that he did pass away. WWE did a great tribute to him on the show as well. So again, our condolences. Rest in peace, Psycho Sid. But with that, we got a bunch to talk about when it comes to Monday Night Raw, the go-home show to Bash in Berlin this weekend. And before we get into all that, I want to say thank you for joining us here. Twitch.tv/PWU Unlimited, YouTube.com/Pro Wrestling Unlimited, and podcast services all around the globe like Stitcher, Spotify, Google Pod, Apple Pod, Anchor, iHeartRadio, and so much more. Remember, if you are watching live on Twitch, you can help us out a couple of different ways. You can either help us out by hitting that donate button down below, or by donating Twitch bits in the live chat. Also, remember, you can help us out by subscribing to the channel, one of two different ways. You can either subscribe with a tiered subscription, or you can subscribe with Amazon Prime, because remember, if you have Amazon Prime, then you have Prime Gaming. Prime Gaming gives you a lot of cool things like free games, free stuff for games, and you always get one free subscription to any Twitch channel you want to subscribe to throughout the month, and I'd greatly appreciate it if you did right here for Wrestling Unlimited. Also, remember to help us out on YouTube. It's a subscribe button. That way you know when we post new videos. That way you know when we post to the community tab, and that way you know when we go live. If you do want to support the channel in another way, you can become a channel member. Hit that join button to become a channel member. Even if it's just at the $1 tier, we greatly appreciate it. And then finally, if you want to get your comment, question, or concern read live on the air, you can do so by donating a super chat in the live chat. Finally, head over to the Epic Game Store. Head over to the Epic Game Store and buy something. Whether you're buying a new game, whether you're buying an old game, whether you're claiming a free game or getting bucks for Rocket League, Fortnite, or Fall Guys, use this code right here, PW Unlimited, at checkout, and you will be supporting us at no extra cost. Maybe you're getting into that new Absolute Doom season of Fortnite. You're getting Black Myth Wukong that's taking the world by storm, the brand new Star Wars Outlaws that just came out today, or you're waiting for that Marvel Rivals on December 6th. Use our code to check out PWU NLIMITED. Only takes you a couple extra seconds to type it in and doesn't cost you any extra. Also, right now, the free games are Gigantic Rampage Edition, which never played it, but I've watched people play it. Looks like a great game. Callisto Protocol. That is a great game. Callisto Protocol is awesome. So go get that. Or maybe you want to get the new Iron Spider skin in Fortnite. Use our code. Make sure if you're getting anything on Fortnite, whether it's on your computer, your PlayStation, your Switch, your mobile device, your Xbox, you're going to that store, you're going to the bottom, you're clicking creator code, and you're typing in PW Unlimited. But with all of that, we do have Monday Night Raw to talk about, as Monday Night Raw did open up with a Judgment Day coming out. We also did learn that Corey Graves is on commentary now on Monday Night Raw with Pat McAfee gone. And Michael Cole and Corey Graves are going to be working a lot together, they said. Because apparently, if I heard this correctly, if I heard it wrong, correct me. But it sounds like Cole, when they move SmackDown, excuse me, when they move SmackDown to, well, we already know this. When they move SmackDown over to, and I got some caught in my throat. Give me 1 second, guys. Sorry about that. So when they move SmackDown over to USA, we know Michael Cole's going to go to SmackDown. He's going to be there. But it sounds like Graves may be staying there as well. So maybe we get a 3-man booth? I'm not 100% sure. I kind of quickly heard Michael Cole say it. Let me see something really fast. Let me see if anybody reported on it. I don't think so because it's not like super huge news. Yeah, no, I don't see anything for it. But it sounds like Cole's going to go to SmackDown because Michael Cole was like, you got Corey Graves here filling in for Pat McAfee, and Graves and I are going to be working a lot together, especially when SmackDown comes to the USA Network. So I don't know if that's supposed to mean that Graves is going to stay on SmackDown and be on Raw with Joe Tessitore, or if they're both doing both. I don't know. We know that Cole's moving to SmackDown, though, and then coming back to Raw for Netflix. It's a whole thing. So Judgment Day come out as tag team champions. Finn Balor and JD McDonough. It's Liv Morgan, the women's world champion. It's Carlito. It's Dominic Mysterio. We had a replay of their attacks on Damian Priest and Rhea Ripley last week. Carlito then said, yeah, that was cool. JD McDonough said that it was a long time coming. Finn Balor said that Judgment Day weren't bad guys. Priest and Ripley were the bad guys, and they got what they deserved. Morgan said she and Daddy Dom would beat them in Berlin, Rhea and Damian, that is, and then prove that they are always on top. The crowd loudly booed as Dom took the mic. Dom announced that he was entering the Intercontinental title tournament with Morgan's support. Out would then come Rey Mysterio and the LWO, Dragon Lee, Joaquin Wilde, and Cruz del Toro. Rey then called his son a lost soul and said, hey, at least when you were with Rhea, one of you had balls. He said someone had to put Dom in his place. Dom said that he already beat Rey, and he disappeared for weeks when he did so. Rey called his son a jackass and was even more of a jackass now that he was with Liv. Morgan tried to stick up for Dom, so Rey invited Dom to take a swipe. He's like, hit me right here, because then I want to be able to hit you right back. And I'm like, why don't you just hit him then, Rey? He's like, I want to knock that stupid mustache right off your face. McDonough then took the swing at Rey. Rey blocked it. They all started fighting. Dom took Rey down, and then Dragon Lee wiped everybody out with a amazing dive. Basically ran the ropes. When he came back, Wilde and Del Toro launched him up into the air over the top rope. Oh boy, was that awesome. Excuse me. Great dive by Dragon Lee. All looked good. And then we got an 8-man tag. It was a Judgment Day. Dominic, Carlito, Finn, and JD against the team of Rey, Dragon Lee, Joaquin, and Cruz. The match was made official and started during the break. Dragon Lee, Wilde, and Del Toro went for some dives, but Judgment Day escaped up the aisle. They didn't retreat for far because Wilde nailed them with one of his launching springboarding dives. This always looks cool. I think it looks cooler in the NXT building, though, because it's smaller, but it's still always cool. Judgment Day were in control after a break, though. Rey made the hot tag and ran wild on Dom. Rey hit a sunset flip powerbomb, but Judgment Day broke up the pin. Wilde and Del Toro tried simultaneous springboard drop kicks, but Wilde slipped and fell. Not a good look. LWO all hit suicide dives. Moments later, it was kind of cool. They did the up top shot, and they ran the ropes, and then dive. Kind of cool. I felt like it. I liked using the up top shot, like the Wile E. Coyote cam, as they call it. I just felt like it was a little too zoomed out. But that's just my opinion. I look at things a little differently than a lot of fans because I have a production background. And so I see production things without even thinking about it. Like the video I posted last night from the podcast, the clip of me saying that the way they set up the all-in stage made it look like they were coming out to an empty arena, even though we knew it wasn't an empty arena. People jumped on my bones for that one when they didn't realize what I was actually trying to say. I wasn't dogging on AEW. In the same clip, I praised AEW for having over 55,000 people or over 54,000 people there. What I was saying, though, is they could have done better production-wise, setup-wise. Either set the seats up in a way where they were going up the ramp more, or do like last year and have a smaller stage to maximize your space as far as like how it looks for camera angles, like what WWE did at SummerSlam. They had an almost non-existent stage, so that way when they shot it and people coming out, it was right in the middle of everybody where they were seated and not any of the areas that didn't have people. Because SummerSlam had the same amount of people, 55,000. They made it look good. Production all about production. Ray hit his son with a 619 at one point, but Balor distracted the referee as Morgan pulled Dom to safety. Ray missed a frog splash, and as a result, Dom used the La Mystical cradle and got the pin, pinning old Daddy Ray. So Dom pinned his dad with the help of Liv. Judgment Day then placed Ray on the announce table as Dom set up for a dive, but Ripley and Priest would run down to Ripley's music and make the save. Dom was then cornered, but Morgan saved him. The rest of Judgment Day then jumped in, which allowed Dom and Liv and Balor to escape. Ripley then gave McDonough a riptide as Priest gave Carlito a South of Heaven chokeslam at the same time. Excuse me. Jackie Redmond's in the back. She interviewed The Miz about being in the IC title tournament. Miz talked about how if he wins the tournament, he can get a shot at the title. And then if he wins the title, well, then he ties the record of most IC title reigns. And Michael Cole talked about it later. Name drop Jericho. He just said it. If Miz can win the IC title one more time, he will tie Chris Jericho, the record of most Intercontinental title reigns. So, cool on them for just saying it. Well, Bronson Reed then interrupted, and he was like, so I took out R-Truth. I took out Seth Rollins. Now I got to deal with Braun Strowman because you got him involved. Well, once I'm done with Braun, I'm coming for you. And Miz is kind of like, okay. Like, he didn't know what to say. Then they got the New Day backstage. Kofi met with Woods. Had a few slight disagreements. Wood changed his gear from green to black. And I'm like, but they always wear different colors. A lot of times, I mean, no, not always. I take that back. When they have like the Nickelodeon gear, it's the same. But when they have gear like this, like the Power Ranger gear and stuff, one's one color, one's another color. Kofi, what are you doing? But I think the black was supposed to mean something. I don't think Woods is turning heel, but they want you to think he might be turning heel. Hence the black gear. Kofi wore the green gear. Again, when they wear the gear like this, like the Power Ranger or the Street Fighter, Mortal Kombat stuff, whenever they wear that kind, they're always different characters, so different colors. Anyways, they agreed that they'd been together as long as they had because they were emotionally secure grown men who could talk things out. Now, they each had a chance to potentially bring the IC title to the New Day. We then had tag team action. It was Damage Control versus, I don't know, Pure Fusion Frenzy, I think is what they're called. Pure Fusion Frenzy, PFC. Kathy Kelly interviewed Sonya Deville, Shayna Baszler, and Zoe Stark in Gorilla before the match. They bragged about injuring people like Zelina Vega, Kaden Carter, Katana Chance, and Dakota Kai. They were all sitting at home on their couch watching, and then they said now they're going to do the same thing to Io and Kairi. The match itself went 7.5 minutes. Also, the tag match earlier, 13.5 that we saw on TV. As far as this match does go, they went to a break 45 seconds in, and nothing really happened before the break. DeVille did take a cheap shot at Sane at one point. Sane then made a comeback after the break, but Baszler caught her with a knee strike. Stark then followed with a missile dropkick, but Sky broke up the cover. Zelina then ran in from the crowd and knocked down DeVille. So this is her big return after being gone for a couple of weeks. Sky then took out Baszler with a moonsault on the outside of the ring, which Sane then hit Stark with an insane elbow in the ring to pin her and pick up the victory. So Damage Control gets the big win. The crowd popped for it too. The crowd really liked Damage Control winning here tonight. They were quiet for most of the match, but once Kairi got that pin, they popped big. So we got Uncle Howdy talking here. He said, quote, I stopped to marvel all of our accomplishments. Nearly stepped on a serpent. We won't make this mistake again. The false prophet continues to revel himself of the world, masquerading as a loving shepherd while marching his lambs into the mouth of wolves. A bond forged in the tears of the innocents is not a family, it's blasphemy. Chad, we have given you chance after chance, inflicting fear and suffering. And yet, you refuse to remove the scales from your eyes. Your arrogance is like a beast risen from the sea. We must cut off the head so the blood of the damned rains down, washing away the sins of the wicked. I accept your challenge, your invitation. This is more than a reckoning. This is a purge. Basically, he said, I'm going to kill Chad Gable. That's what he said. Then out came Drew McIntyre. This was a good segment. This was a really good segment. One of the better things on the show. McIntyre entered, and he used the old Punk promo line, boy, it's great to be alive on a Monday night in Providence, Rhode Island. McIntyre said that he could keep going because he knew Punk's whole predictable routine. Punk would go on to talk about his favorite subject, well, himself. Punk would talk about how hot the company was, despite being gone for 8 years and having nothing to do with how hot the company really is right now. Punk would then talk about meeting little Timmy, who flew 239,000 miles from the moon to meet him, his Lord and Savior, CM Punk. McIntyre then sat cross-legged in the ring and said, do I have your attention now? McIntyre said that he wasn't doing a bit. He was telling the truth. Punk was afraid of him. Punk kept attacking him from behind. The only reason he kept doing it was because the fans kept chanting his name. The fans were his enabler. Chanting his name was like handing a drunk a drink. Punk would sober up and realize that McIntyre was going to kill him in the strap match. He said those words, kill him. I'm like, oh, frick. Kill him. Oh, boy. Like, they went that far. They went that far. He said every time he whips Punk, it would be on the fans, and they would have to live with that. The fans have chosen nostalgia over the warrior who was there for them during the darkest of times. The 50-cent piece of trash on his wrist caused Punk so much emotional hurt, talking about the bracelet. It's ironic. The weapon he chose would cause him so much physical hurt. Punk's music then played. McIntyre bowed up and waited for Punk to come out. Punk came out from behind. What did Drew say? You always attack from behind. And that's what he did. Drew didn't listen to his own words because Punk got him from behind, whipped him with a strap. Yet, McIntyre headbutted Punk and clobbered him. Punk planted McIntyre on the announce table with a back body drop that looked stiff because the way he crashed down on the table. And then he hammered away at him with the strap around his fist. Security finally ran down to separate the two. McIntyre bailed through the crowd. Punk attacked 3 guards with a strap and posed on the ropes as he stared down McIntyre. I thought McIntyre's promo was freaking amazing. And then the little brawl afterwards worked as well. The whole thing with the strap match, though, Drew can't run away. Once they're strapped together, Drew can't run away. Then they got a promo hyping up Braun Strowman before his match later. Then we had the first of 2 triple threat matches in the IC title tournament. So we have learned this IC title tournament will be 4 triple threat matches. The winners of each triple threat will then come together in a few weeks. In a 4-way, winner gets a shot at the IC title. So this match was Jey Uso, Karrion Kross, and Kofi Kingston. Match starts. Kofi immediately goes after Kross. Jey kind of gets perturbed by it and yanks Kofi out of the corner. If I was Jey, I would just let him fight for a minute, watch it, and then interject myself. Anyways, Jey pulled Kofi out of the corner, and Kofi did get the best of it for a minute with Jey, and then he wiped out both men with a trust fall dive ahead of a break. Jey was in control after the break, but Kross cut him off with a thrust kick. Kingston then hit Kross with a flying crossbody for a 2. Kingston hit Jey with the Trouble in Paradise after Kross ducked. Kross powerbombed Kingston for a 2. Kross applied a cloverleaf, but Kingston reversed it into a roll-up for a 2. Kross then knocked Kingston out of the ring with a right hand. Jey would follow this up with a big spear and a huge Uso splash for the victory. But with that, Jey Uso does advance to the Fatal 4-Way, And I want to say 2 weeks. All they said was in a couple of weeks. They didn't say exactly when. They then aired a Gunther promo. Gunther is currently overseas on tour. We have some WWE wrestlers on tour right now doing like a Germany tour ahead of Bash in Berlin. Gunther's one of them. Apparently, Gunther and Dragunov had an amazing match. He basically said that Randy Orton will finally meet his match in Berlin. They then plugged SmackDown coming to the USA Network on September 13th, which is not long far off. That is in. So we have 1, 2. We only have 2 more SmackDowns on Fox. Holy shnikes. I didn't realize it was that close. It was like 3 or 4. Yeah, we only have 2 more SmackDowns on Fox. So think about that one, ladies and germs. Excuse me. They also aired a clip from the Peacock show Bel Air. Apparently, Bianca Belair played herself on the show. They aired a clip where she goes, I know most of you probably know me as the first black woman to main event WrestleMania, but I'm more than that. And then it kind of cut. And they were like, for more, watch it on Peacock. And I was like, okay. No, not a week from Friday. 2 weeks from Friday. This Friday is the 30th. Friday the 30th. Then we still have September 6th, which will be on SmackDown. Then we have the USA debut, or re-debut return. So we have 2 more SmackDowns, not 1. Not a week from Friday. 2 weeks from Friday. Randy Orton came out and cut a great promo. Orton said, you know, before, I used to listen to the voices in my head for most of my career. But lately, I'm listening to the voices of the fans singing my song. It meant the world to him that they sang his song. Even though it took them 15 years to do so, he thanked them. Orton said he has won many titles in his career. The one that means the most to him is the World Heavyweight Championship. It's because it's the first world title that he won, and he is the youngest to win that championship ever. He said then, about 10 years ago, he unified the 2 world titles. He was the last person before they brought it back to have his name on that World Heavyweight Championship. They brought the title back, yet he couldn't fight for it last year because he was at home recovering from spinal fusion surgery. He said he watched and saw the title be introduced and knew that when he was good, he was going to come back for it. He didn't know if he would be able to perform again, but knew that one of his goals would be to win that title, to get his name engraved on that belt once more, because he wanted to create a new legacy. Crowd then chants, you deserve it. He said that he knew that he would be stepping into enemy territory in Berlin against a living legend to the people out there. But Gunther's head was also shoved so far up his own ass that he didn't realize that he was facing the most dangerous wrestler this company has ever seen in like the last 20 years. Orton said he signed his first WWE contract at 19 years old and grew up on TV in front of this camera and in front of all the fans here today. He said that he learned from his mistakes and had to earn every ounce of respect that he has on his name. Gunther came into this company in his 30-somethings, and he was egotistical and a prick. They might have that last part in common, he said. So the difference between them was that Orton was humbled earlier in his career, but Gunther has never been put in his place. Orton planned on doing that in Berlin. He said this match could have just been about the title, but Gunther had to make it personal. Gunther was right that Orton had demons, but those demons were tougher than Gunther. Orton beat them, and just like he would beat Gunther, he would do it with an RKO. Great promo from Randy Orton. Just more of him saying why he wants this belt, why this title means so much to him, and why he needs to beat Gunther. A, to be a world champion, but B, because it's that belt. The first world title he won was the big gold belt. And he was the last person before they brought it back to hold the big gold belt. Interesting that he didn't say he unified it by beating John Cena. He just said, I got the opportunity to unify the 2 world titles we had at that time. He said, by beating John Cena in a ladder match. There was a pre-tape promo, Isla Dawn and Alba Fire. They said Jade and Bianca got all the attention. But that did them no good when the bell rings at Clash of the Castle. Dawn and Fire would prove all the doubters right when they do the same thing in Bash in Berlin. Walk out with the belts. We then got Bronson Reed versus Braun Strowman that ended in a no contest, double count out, parking lot brawl. Like, oh my God, was this awesome. So Strowman immediately hit a drop kick early on in this match, but Reed knocked him down moments later with some shoulder tackles. Strowman no-sold some chops and hit one of his own. Strowman hit a running crossbody, but Reed followed with a flying crossbody of his own. Reed then hit a suicide dive, which led to a break. Back from the break, Reed went up top for a tsunami, but Strowman slammed him and hit a big boot. Reed then went to the apron and thumbed Strowman in the eye. Reed started walking to the back, but Strowman ran after him and clotheslined him. Reed drove Strowman into the video boards and kept walking through the back. He went through gorilla position, and then he stops as he exits the gorilla position on the other side and grabs a trash can. He knew Strowman was probably coming for him, so he stood there and waited. And when Strowman came through that curtain, boom, trash can to the face. Two security guards tried to step between them. Corey Graves on commentary was like, it ain't in their best interest to get involved. Just let them go. Strowman tossed one into an equipment box and chokeslammed the other through a table. They brought to the parking lot, and Strowman chokeslammed Reed onto the hood of a car, and they go, no, they're not going to know. Don't let Strowman get the best of Reed. And they didn't. Because I'm just like, we got all this momentum on Reed, and you're going to let Strowman go over on it? But they didn't. Let it play out. Strowman tackled Reed over the hood of another car that they said was Corey Graves' rental car, and he goes, good thing I got the insurance on that. Reed slid off and landed hard on his shoulder on the concrete. Reed then fought off Strowman by hitting him with a pipe. With Strowman laying on the roof of a car, Reed then climbed atop of a concrete brick wall about 9 feet in the air, jumped off with the tsunami onto Strowman on the roof of the car. The side windows exploded. They had it rigged up so some like fireworks and pyro or whatever went off inside the car to make it look like they busted the light in the top of the car as well and whatnot. And officials ran out all chaotic and crazy to check on both men as we go to commercial break. We come back from the break, and they're checking on Braun Strowman. And Corey lets us know, well, Bronson Reed, during the break, just got up and left. No, Cole said it. He refused medical attention and just went on his way. And they're like, we don't know if he's hurt. We don't know how he is, but, yeah. Bronson Reed, one tough son of a bitch. So then we had the second triple threat for the IC title tournament. This one was The Miz, Xavier Woods, and Pete Dunne. Woods wore a Sid armband, which is cool to see. He ran wild on Dunne following a break, and Graves let us know that Miz has been a non-factor throughout the entire break of this match. Woods did a few Claudio Castagnoli spots, including running corner uppercuts and a big swing. Woods was dizzy, so Miz hit him with a DDT. Miz then hit Dunne with the code breaker, DDT'd both of them and hit the it kicks, or as Corey calls them, the world famous it kicks. Miz tried a flying crossbody, but Woods caught him and rolled through. Woods then hit some sort of a gutbuster and powerbombed Dunne onto the Miz. Miz then hit Woods with a skull-crushing finale, but Dunne tried to steal the pin, and Miz broke it up. Dunne then put Miz in a crossface, and Woods super kicked both men. Woods hit a flying elbow and had it won, but Dunne yanked the referee out of the ring. Triple threat, no disqualification. Dunne then booted Woods from the ring and then hit Miz with the bitter end and pinned him to pick up the victory. There we go. Pete Dunne does advance into the Fatal 4-Way match. He will be facing Jey Uso and 2 more men to be named next week. So Jackie Redmond interviewed Braun Breaker. Braun warned Jey to keep his name out of his mouth. He said a member of Jay's family has never beaten a member of his family, and Jey wasn't going to be the first to do it. Braun dismissed the idea of Dunne beating him too. He warned the eventual tournament winner that he was the IC champion, and the worst was yet to come. Speaking of Jey Uso really quick, his old daddy Rikishi really gotta stop talking for his son. He's got his podcast and keeps just going, I don't like the way they're booking Jey. Jey needs to step up and talk to somebody about the booking. Tell them that they're not the only game in town anymore. And I'm like, Rikishi, what are you freaking doing? Let me see if I can find the quote really fast. This is just wild what Rikishi said. Rikishi said, so I'm reading this from WrestleZone. They write, Rikishi continues by noting that it seems clear that the writers did not know where to put Jay. He said that maybe Jay could take a break. He then expressed his hopes that WWE would do right and do the right thing, saying, quote, and that didn't happen either. It's like, okay, I'm at this point where I just want to call my son and say, hey, go ahead, just take a break. Because obviously the writers don't know where to put you or where they can write something that's right for the character of Jey Uso and the Yeet Man. And then I mentioned this. Definitely, WWE is making money off the Yeet Man, and Yeet Man is making money himself. But the only difference is the Yeet Man is working for his money. WWE, you see it every week. There's a new merchandise of Yeet coming out. The Yeet Man is out doing personal appearances. Why? It's not because he has to. Because that's the demand of the fans. All of the characters they picked the Yeet Man. What I'm saying is, let's make no mistakes about it. I am not in favoritism, this boy, my son, to be able to speak on this. And I'm speaking, it's about what's happening because this can be any wrestler. It can be a female wrestler, a guy wrestler, whatever the case. But what is the case? Why are y'all not lighting this kid up and just letting him do his thing? But I appreciate everybody for when I put out my post, everybody came through because y'all feel the same way I do. And let's just hope WWE gets it together and does the right thing. For me, it's a concern. At the end of the day, these are our bodies. This is my flesh and blood. My horse and blood that's pounding his body day in, day out. You don't see what I see. He's a family. He comes home just aching, his body hurting, but he'll never sell it because he's not trained that way. He's not trained to quit. He's trained with responsibility. You sign the dotted line. Now, I'm not talking about that contract. I'm talking about the dotted line for you and yours. He said, long story short, I feel the Yeet Man is getting all of this organically. This popularity, it's all organically. He got the vibe. He's got the swag. It's just the WWE Universe loves the Yeet Man. When it comes to putting the Yeet Man in the right position as opportunities, there's no reason why the Yeet Man couldn't have won the Money in the Bank. There's no reason why the Yeet Man could not have an opportunity to be a main player at the Intercontinental belt or just a World Championship belt. I felt the Yeet Man is being put in a certain position. For whatever reason, it doesn't make sense to me. Honestly, I thought, my boy, just take a break. Because if you configure this kid is where he needs to be, why have him on the show? He's not there to be an enhancement talent for a talent that's trying to enhance popularity. The Yeet Man has already got the popularity. So if we're talking business, okay, WWE can do their business. But at the same time, we're self-employed. The Yeet Man is self-employed. So if you ask the father, I would say Rikishi would take the Rikishi brand and do what's best for Rikishi brand. Basically saying, they ain't pushing my boy right, maybe he should leave. Boy, howdy. God dang Rikishi. What are you? Let your boy cook. That's all I'm going to say. Just let him be. Let him be, Papa. Anywho, Chad Gable cut a pre-tape promo alongside American Made. Gable said that he wasn't a false prophet. He wasn't the one hiding behind a mask, asking his family members to do the dirty work while he sat back. Gable would show the world Uncle Howdy was just an ordinary guy and would tap just like any other guy. We then got a video from Priest and Ripley. Priest said Judgment Day called them the bad guys. Well, they're right. Ripley said it felt good being bad, and the Terror Twins would show no mercy in Berlin. Priest closed out by saying, quote, we're your devils, and we're coming for you. Cole then spoke on Psycho Sid. He said that one of the first people he met when he started in WWE in 1997 was Sid backstage, and Sid actually tried to teach him the business. He said Sid was one of the nicest men he's ever known. and one of the greatest big men the sport's ever seen. And then they aired a very nice video for Sid Udy. Of course, next week's Raw does go in Denver, Colorado, the Mile High City. Got 2 Intercontinental title triple threat matches. Well, number 1 contender tournament triple threat matches. First one, we'll see Sheamus, Bronson Reed, and Ludwig Kaiser. The second, we'll see Ilya Dragunov, Dragon Lee, and Dominic Mysterio. We also do know that Zelina Vega will take on Shayna Baszler. Speaking of Sheamus, though, Sheamus was on College Game Day from Dublin, Ireland this past week. Only one to pick Georgia Tech over Florida, so cool on that. But literally, Michael Cole goes, so Sheamus was on College Game Day this past weekend with a obvious hungover Pat McAfee. And if you saw Pat's show last Friday, oh my God, was Pat, I'm just say it, fucked up. First off, Pat talked about how before the show started on their flight over there, they took 100 milligram edibles. Then they were pounding back Guinnesses and other kinds of drinks and beers on the show to the point where at one point, Pat's sitting there going, oh, oh. Like he's about to throw up. I think he did throw up at one point. It's just like, oh boy. Oh boy. But this does lead us to our main event. The 14-minute match, Uncle Howdy versus Chad Gable. I'm just going to say it. You don't have to agree with me. Bo looks dumb with the hat, with the wig, and the mask while he's wrestling. Just take it off. I got to say it. In my opinion, Bo looks dumb with the mask and the wig. Brandon, these two did work very well together. I'm very happy that this was not a Fiend match, I guess you would say. Because or else Gable wouldn't have got any offense in and would have just got destroyed. Also, interesting tidbit note here. Bo Dallas' last official match was in November of 2019 in a 6-man. And Chad Gable, where at the time he was going by the name Shorty G, was one of Bo's opponents. That's an interesting tidbit. So, like I said, Uncle Howdy wrestled in the mask and the long gray wig. Howdy danced with Gable before knocking him down with a clothesline. Howdy hit a power slam and chased a frightened Gable from the ring. He went to a break about a minute in, and Howdy taunted Gable like a Luke Harper. Gable suplexed Howdy out of the ring and hit a dive off the top. The crowd chanted, "You suck" at Gable, who ran into a back body drop. Howdy used a running hip attack into the barricade. Uncle Howdy, respecting the rules, slid in the ring to break up the ref's count. Howdy then chucked Gable over the announce table on the leather chair. Howdy cleared the announce table, but Gable gave him a big Olympic slam onto the table. Didn't break. Howdy then got back into the ring at the 9 count. Then they went to the top, and Gable hit an avalanche T-bone suplex for a 2. Gable followed this up with 3 German suplexes. Gable tried to go for the Chaos Theory, but Howdy blocked it and hit a Uranagi for a 2. Howdy then went to go for the Sister Abigail, but Ivy Nile would show up on the apron and cause the distraction of the referee that also distracted Howdy, that allowed Gable to counter into an ankle lock. Howdy countered that ankle lock, but Gable then fell into the referee as a result, knocking him down. Howdy put Gable in the mandible claw, but then the Creed brothers showed up, tried to go after Howdy, and they did toss him into the barricade. The lights would momentarily go out, and when they come back, there's the Wyatt 6. Howdy avoided Gable moonsault, and then hit a Sister Abigail in the ring to pick up the victory. There we go. Uncle Howdy does defeat Chad Gable as everybody expected. Not a bad match. Not bad at all. I would say, like I said, these two did work very well together, I thought. But overall, it was a good Raw. Wouldn't call it great. I don't even know if I can call it really, really good. I would just say it was a good Raw. And I guess if I was voting with you guys, it was easy to watch and stuff, but I think I would say it was just all right. A couple really good things, like the Drew McIntyre promo was really good. Stuff with Bronson Reed and Braun Strowman in the parking lot was really good. Then everything else was, I wouldn't say just there, because everything that they did tonight made sense. That's the one thing that I liked about this show. Everything they did had a purpose. But let me get the poll here on Twitch. What did you think? Raw. Liked it. it was right. I didn't like it. So the poll is live on Twitch if you are watching there. And we'll check the other polls as well. Or as the Threads poll does go, 50% liked the show, 50% thought it was just all right. Looking at the Twitter X poll, 75% liked the show, 25% thought it was just all right. As far as the YouTube community poll does go, 81% liked the show, 12% thought it was just all right, and 7% didn't like it. Well, comments here. This one says, awesome watch. The end was awesome too. Pretty good show tonight. And this person said they loved Raw. Or as the live poll does go, 92% liked the show, 8% thought it was just all right. And then finally, everybody that voted on Twitch liked the show. Good to see. Most people like this show. Like I said, it was a good show. Easy to watch. Flowed very well. By the time we got to that main event, I looked down the clock and go, oh, damn. We're almost done. We got 20 minutes left. So, again, a good Raw that was easy to watch. Can't complain. But with that, I want to say thank you for joining us here. Twitch.tv/PW Unlimited, YouTube.com/Pro Wrestling Unlimited, and podcast services all around the globe like Stitcher, Spotify, Google Pod, Apple Pod, Anchor, iHeartRadio, and so much more. With that, we will be back live on Wednesday for AEW Dynamite. Then we got SmackDown on Friday, Bash in Berlin on, Bash in Berlin on Saturday, and NXT No Mercy on Sunday. We've got a packed week coming up for you guys here with live content. And with that, have a great rest of your Monday night. Have a great rest of your week. And we'll see you next time. Have a good one, guys. Excuse me.